everybody.
there.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Before we get started on the last roll video, this one's going to be for the wizard. We just got a couple things we just kind of want to run through with you real quick. So this coming Saturday, we're going to be doing our book giveaway on stream. We won't be putting a video out because time, but we will be running a stream at 11:30 p.m. Central, so that'd be 9:30 Pacific, and East Coast would be an hour beyond where we're at.
12:30.
12:30, yeah. It will be late, but unfortunately, it's the only time we could kind of get everything together and get this working.
I am working on getting it to where we can do this more reliably a little bit earlier in the day. Hasn't happened yet, so work is still kind of hit and miss.
So that was one announcement. Also, check out the podcast. We've been working on that pretty good. JD's been killing the edits. Hope you enjoy that.
Trying to.
Let's get into the video.
Yeah, tell me about the wizard.
So we've got 6 learning paths, as per usual. You've got Evocation, Conjuration, Planeshifting, Magecraft, Projection, and Trickery. And then you've got Legendaries.
Legendaries on this one are kind of interesting. We'll get there. The first one, Evocation. You have 5 abilities. Some of them are pretty basic. Some of them have a lot of similarities to D&D with different names. First one, Magic Strike. This is your magic missile.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Standard weapon damage.
Free damage for 2, pump it up for 4.
On the free one, the difference is that you have to roll for it, succeed or fail. On the other one, when you pump it, it's automatic success. The next one is Kindle. You light stuff on fire. It has to be flammable. That's it.
Let me light that for you.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Clap.
Thunderclap.
3 targets, 2 HP apiece. If they're medium size or smaller, they're knocked down.
Yep, they go prone. Then you've got the most broken spell in this entire game, when, if used right, can do more damage than anything in this entire game.
I'm just going to let you go for it. I'm going to go get a drink of water.
Yeah, that's fine. So we've got Telekinesis, and basically Telekinesis is going to let you burn 1 AP as a standard and let you move something, actually we'll throw it more or less, for 5 meters and do 2 points of damage. Now, when things get broken is in the next step, because you can add and amplify AP into the spell. And for every additional AP that you stack into it, you get 5 more meters of distance and 2 more things of damage. So theoretically, this spell can do more damage than anything in the game. You coming back anytime soon, man?
Yeah, I'm right here. So what you're telling me is, everybody play wizard, everybody take telekinesis,
And never use AP ever.
nobody spend anything.
Yeah.
Until you get to the end, and then you just say, we win.
Yeah, it's the I win button.
Yep.
And then you've got Last Light. JD, what's that?
Last light is your disintegrate. It's this really hot beam of light that you send out that does an insane amount of damage, can set stuff on fire. If it kills it, it disintegrates it. If it's a minion or lower, it's killed instantly, and it can be reflected around with mirrors.
Moving on from there, we've got Conjuration. So within Conjuration, you've got Familiar. I don't think we really need to go into too much detail, other than you could just spawn a little creature that your buddy has a little bit of AP or HP, excuse me, but it cannot attack. 4?
Has 4 HP. Also has to stay within line of sight. The rest of Conjuration, there's only one in the rest of it that we actually feel is interesting enough to talk about bigly. The other 2 are Pegasus Cloak, which is Featherfall and Float in the same spell.
Mm-hmm.
The last one is Conjure, which is Pictionary with friends for free items.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not that expensive, which kind of makes it usable and okay. The one that's actually broken out of this one is Force Field.
Yep. So you basically spawn in a force field. You don't even have to use it to keep things away, but the wizard can decide whether or not they want things to come in and or go out. Mm-hmm. They can move it with their mind. So you could use it to like float around. It could be your flying carpet.
Moving on from there, Plane Shift is one of the big ones for this role. You have your Blink, which is you teleport yourself.
So Gate, basically you bind yourself to a room, costs 1 AP, and then at the snap of your fingers,
teleport any party member you want to you.
Yeah.
That's willing.
Then you've got Portal, which is
Dimension Door.
Yeah.
It's Dimension Door.
It's exactly what it is.
Only it stays open.
Yes.
Dark Door is the next one. This one's kind of interesting. You have to have a physical door. When you open it, you open a door to a shadow plane that you are familiar with. If the door closes behind you, then you're stuck.
Next one is Teleport. Teleport is teleport. But really funny.
You have to roll the die.
and if you screw up, you can kill people.
There's a few different levels of screw up and only a couple levels of success on this one, which I think is always a good way to have it.
Moving from there, we've got Magecraft. No is counterspell.
This is all your counterspell stuff.
Yeah. Reflect, very much just like counterspell, but you can send it right back based on the rules.
It's a dice roll. It's different levels. Sometimes it goes back. Sometimes it doesn't. In scroll, this is your scribing magic. This is your create spell scroll. That's all it is. You can hand it to anybody. It takes 2 AP more than the actual spell.
Yeah, so it's whatever the cost of the actual spell is plus the 2 to inscribe it.
And then spell steal is if you see somebody else use a spell, you can copy it for 1 use. But the issue with this one, you don't have full information on the spell. There might be downsides that you're unaware of, things like that, or it could just go wrong because you don't have enough information to cast it well. The next one's projection. This one's kind of like Conjuration for us. It's mostly utility. It's not that impactful in my opinion.
Sense magic is detect magic on just about, depending on how many AP you throw into this, is going to really kind of dictate how much information you're going to get.
Exactly. More AP, more info.
Yeah. And you've got Aura's Silvery Broadcast.
It's a loudspeaker.
It's a big boom mic or a loudspeaker.
It's the intercom in places like Walmart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can I have your attention, please? Would such and such, who has the vehicle in automotive, please pick up their vehicle? It's ready. Thank you.
Yep. And then you've got Scry. One of the options is you basically kind of just look into your future and you kind of have a conversation with the guide. Hey, what do you see going on in the future based off of what has happened in the game at this point? Also has an option as opposed to kind of seeing to the future.
Lucky.
And then you've got See, which is true sight or true seeing. You can see invisibility. You can see invisible things, not invisibility. Try again, Ryan. Reset.
Same.
You can see illusions and stuff like that. It's true sight.
It's true sight on a stick. Find is one of the interesting ones, and probably the only interesting one here, in my opinion, in a big way anyway. This is locate and procure. For 3 AP, you can locate anything that you've seen before or held before. For 3 more, you can snap it and it's yours.
Kind of broken.
Having to take everything else to get to it, though, I would probably never end up with it.
And then moving on from there, we've got Trickery.
There's a couple neat ones in here.
Speak. We were kind of talking about this. JD's like, oh, it's kind of like ventriloquism, like kind of like telepathy, but your lips are moving.
It's
all
telepathy,
in the head.
but people know what's going on. They just can't hear you.
Exactly.
Pinch is really cool. Pinch is anything that is feasibly that you can close 2 fingers around and pinch. No longer weighs anything.
And then you've got Stretch, which is basically enlarge or reduce.
You use the bigger version of Stretch, which is 4 AP, and then you use Pinch to pick up anything that at that point you can squeeze your fingers around, which is a much larger amount of things.
Yep.
So the last one on Trickery is a little bit weird. It's worded in a way that makes it a little bit difficult to understand. You reverse time for an object
that took effort to make.
Or took effort to put it in the state that it's in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, for example, for 1 AP, you can reverse time up to a minute of effort for this object. So if you're in combat and somebody breaks your sword, either by guarding it or whatever, that last minute that it took to break your sword, you can undo that for 1 AP.
Kind of like mend, yeah, I can see that.
It's very much a mend.
Yeah.
The second, for 2 AP, it's a day. For 3 AP, it's a week. For 4 AP, it's any amount of time. For 4 AP, you can essentially dismantle or reset anything.
You could take that sword that was broken and you could revert it back to the angle maybe that it came from.
To each individual component. This can't be used on living things. No. That's the big caveat to this. But it is very much a very big mend and also destroy utility.
Mm-hmm. And then going on from there, we've got the Legendaries. We're going to start with Rift. Rift in Quests is in and of itself is kind of like defined as what I would say kind of like limbo.
Yeah.
And basically you can go there.
It's your central plane that's connected to all the other planes and has a door for every single plane.
It's like the dimension where all the multi-dimensions kind of split from. Then you've got Planecraft. You create a pocket dimension.
This one's weird. I like it though.
It's neat because you can do some wild stuff with it. You basically create this pocket dimension, depending on how many AP you spend all the way up to 8, it can be as big as you want it to be. Nothing inside can be sentient or living. We're talking about plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes back and
There's
forth.
a little wiggle room depending on your table.
But it would be really good for somebody that wants to create kind of like a safe sanctuary kind of area where they just can't be harmed.
It's also really good if you're the guide wanting to make an NPC that's using something like this. It's really good for making like a gauntlet that people can run through, or a prison system.
Yeah. Then we've got Transcendence. You kind of open your mind out to the world, and
Big area.
600 miles US.
From you, everywhere.
And you pretty much get information from all these different things, and it's kind of like flowing through you. Things are going wild. And it's kind of your gimme clue, but this gimme clue
is weird.
The whole idea being you're playing a big game of telephone and you're asking somebody a question and you're trying to get the answer to it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You're able to hitch a ride on their senses and see the world through their sight and hearing and all that stuff.
And then you kind of poof back, and depending on what happened, it can affect you as a player. It can break your mind.
I would really recommend other guides to give a player this just to have fun with it. Just to be like, cool, yeah, but now you have experience the consciousness of hundreds of thousands of beings at the same time, and you are forever broken.
And then you've got Create.
So Create is very much Conjure with less steps and more options.
Yep. You have a little box. JD, how big is that little box?
So for Create, it is a 5-meter cube.
Yep. And you can imagine, you can picture, you can think of anything that's not magical.
Not living.
Or non-living, and you basically just poof, and it exists.
Every time you do this, the cost goes up by 1 AP. It starts at 5. This is going to get very expensive very quickly.
What's really neat about this thing, though...
But it does make a perfect object.
Exactly, and that's where I was getting. Like, a perfect copy, even. Like, you can't tell the difference between the two. Wizard, super wild, super fun, good stuff.
Some really big broken spells, and also a lot of utility that's extremely lackluster, in my opinion.
But that wraps up our Quest series.
Yeah, giveaway coming up. Stream on that day. Be sure to come by, say hi, check it out. Podcast and stuff down below with the Discord. Give it a listen, see what you think. But until a week from next week.
A week from next week.
Where we'll be starting. Do we want to talk about it?
I think we should leave it as a surprise.
We'll talk about it on stream. Until then, we'll see you.
Stay awesome, be excellent, and love each other. We're out.